Hey guys, we're on day 10, almost halfway through the month. Today's reading, When God is Silent. God, are you there? Haven't heard from you in a while. Can you still hear me? Have you ever asked these questions to God sometimes? Did you ever feel like God just wasn't listening to your prayers? When times like these come upon us, don't get discouraged. My nature is to worry about everything and stress when things go wrong, especially in times when God seems to be distant and I feel by myself in my walk. But it is in these times when we must continue doing routine to get ourselves back into a place of hearing and receiving. What I mean by this is that we must not stop praying or reading our Bible simply because we can't hear God. That is just what Satan wants us to think. Instead, we should pray harder, dive deeper, and trust bigger than we ever have before. A lot of times, we will go through dry spells in our walk, simply because God is preparing things behind the scenes that we might not be able to see yet. He is lining up details that we don't need to know everything about. Yet, even in these times, God has not forgotten you or abandoned you. Think back to the time period between Malachi and Matthew in the Bible. It has been estimated that 400 years of silence from God took place. 400 years of people who some probably wanted to hear something from God, yet not a word was said. I can imagine that these Israelite people felt forgotten by God. Then suddenly, an angel appears before a teenage girl and turns the world upside down. We are not given a reason as to why God was silent during this time, but we do know that he was not sitting idly by twiddling his thumbs. He was constantly working, preparing for the right people to be in the right place at the right time. He was setting things in motion to bring forth the coming Messiah, that had long been foretold since the days of Isaiah and the major prophets of old. For thousands of years, God gave a glimpse of his plan, starting at the beginning after the fall of man in Genesis 3. A piece here, another over there, all connecting to form the image that would become his son on earth. The people during the silent period had no clue what was coming, and because they had no prophets feeding them God's word, they became complacent individuals who were more focused on keeping the law than following God. They became people not ready for what God was getting ready to do. So when you hit a dry spot in your walk, continue pressing in, for when the time is right, God will move suddenly, and if you have not prepared beforehand, you are not going to be able to contain all that He is doing in and through you. We have just entered a new year to make changes and resolutions that we probably be forgotten come middle of February. Let us make a resolve to grow deeper in our faith, and even in the quiet times, to continue to press in and trust that God is working behind the scenes, and we need to be ready for the right moment. Thank you guys for continuing on this journey with me. I'll see you tomorrow.